Hello and welcome to Who Are You, the Bobcats who know the stories you don't. I'm your host, Joel Vanner, inside the podcast studio at Quinnipiac University's School of Communications, and I am joined today by my guest, Kahlen Lamarche. Kahlen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
I'm glad you're excited. I'm sure you could guess what my first question to you is going to be, and that is, who are you?
My name is Kahlen Lamarche. I'm a criminal justice major with a minor in forensic science and psychology. I play on the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team here. I'm also from Canada, Ontario more specifically, and my graduation year is 2027.
Wow. What position do you play on the women's ice hockey team?
I am a right winger.
Right winger.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's unpack that there. You're criminal justice major, forensic science and psychology minor. You're also on the ice hockey team. Take me back to Kahlen as a child. Did Kahlen think that she'd be studying those things and playing hockey in college?
Honestly, no. So when I first kind of started almost skating, would say I was figure skating first. I had two older brothers who actually did play hockey, though. My mom she wanted her little princess to kind of be a little girl, and so she wanted to put me in figure skating and tap dancing, ballet. So I kind of did that when I was a little bit younger, like 5, 6, and then around 7. My figure skating coach told my mom that I don't have the finesse to be a figure skater that I should try hockey.
And your mom was thinking, man, my two sons went through hockey and I wanted something. At least you got the footwork down in those in ballet.
So that definitely helped me for where I'm at today. But she's definitely mad about it. She was like, oh, my little princess just needs to go into hockey with her two older brothers. So that's how I transitioned into hockey. And then from there, my career path for hockey took off, and I kind of was playing a lot of tournaments, out of Canada. So we came to the U.S. a little bit. I played for Team Canada U18s, and then was getting recruited from a bunch of schools. Quinnipiac was the very first one who reached out, so that was pretty nice. And I was super interested into everything they kind of had. I looked into their programs, their facilities. They kind of took me on a virtual drone tour because at the time COVID was actually kind of a thing. So that was really cool. And I just got to know a lot of people too as well, like people who I kind of grew up playing with. So I talked to a lot of those teammates, and then I kind of honestly from there, I knew that Quinnipiac was going to be my home for the next 4 years. And I committed to them, I think, within 3 weeks from when we started talking. So
at first sight, you knew it.
I knew that this was going to be my home.
And criminal justice as your field of study, did you grow up liking criminal? What encouraged you to choose that as your study? Yeah.
So funny thing is, I actually have no relatives or family members that are even involved in policing, criminal justice, at all, detention, nothing. So I think it's just honestly growing up, I was always kind of intrigued with shows like Criminal Minds and just all those little crime shows and documentaries of, how mysteries are getting solved and, people bodies are getting found. So I think just kind of from a young age, I was always, intrigued and curious about kind of stuff like that. And so I was I want to maybe be a police officer or a detective when I grow up. And funny because people ask me what I want to be when I'm older, and I tell them I want to go into kind of criminal justice field and be a police officer or whatever my path may lead to me. But they're wow, that would suit you a lot. So I think it's just something that I kind of take, and I'm you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I came here, and I'm I declared my major of criminal justice right when I got here. So I kind of already knew that that's what I was gonna do, and I wanted to learn as much as I can about it, and just be educated.
And you're a forensic science minor.
Yeah.
I haven't actually heard of that before today. Tell me about the minor and how that contributes to your experience in the criminal justice program.
Yeah, so they actually just started the minor itself, I think, last year. And so I declared it as one of my minors. And I think it's just kind of helped me, if I wanted kind of transition into maybe a path in forensics. I'm taking forensic on oncology and a bunch of other forensic classes within it, which I'm taking this forensic bones class right now, which is so interesting. Just learning all these little bones, Os Coxas, and I didn't even know we had half of these bones, so it's so cool. I don't even know what that is. Right? That's what I'm saying. So it's such little cool things.
It sounds really hands-on.
Yeah, so it's a lot of lab works, and so that's how I also learn so much easier. Like, so it's just so cool. And I think it's like something that I can like transition into when I want to go into like criminal justice field and kind of start a big girl job, I would say, I guess there. So I think like all the skills that I'm learning in all these classes are just so transferable.
Is there a specific class or faculty member that has been really impactful to you so far?
So one class that I've loved and really enjoyed doing was this summer I actually did an internship with the Derby Police Department. And like I said, I'm a very hands-on person, so that experience was unreal. Everyone was just so amazing, like from the staff to like the officers that I was shadowing. It was just so like such a surreal kind of experience. And it made me like honestly find a passion for wanting to be a police officer. And it's just like the little details that you wouldn't kind of realize from being a police officer that go into like the community and, you know, just being like that kind of figure as a police officer is like insane. And I was shocked. So I'm kind of happy that I did that, to know that, you know, policing is something I do want to pursue in the future.
And you also took part in the Inside Out program too, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that program and your experiences there.
That program was honestly like, again, like just a surreal experience. Like you would never find that in any other university you go to. It was like, so you'd show up for class in the morning and you'd go to the prison and you would learn amongst like inmates. So it would be like a classmate, then an inmate, and then a classmate, and we would do a full kind of circle. And it was led by Professor Stephen McGuinn, which he's also one of my favorite professors here. And you would kind of just, he'd ask questions and you would, you know, like chat amongst kind of everyone. And you'd have these one-on-one conversations with like incarcerated individuals. And it was so cool to kind of see their perspective on, you know, being incarcerated and how they got there and how maybe it could have like, they could have, I don't know how like to say that, but like they could have stopped from, you know, kind of maybe getting arrested a little bit. And it was just like their perspective on things was so like eye-opening, I would say. And it kind of just changed a lot of my perspective on so many different topics.
It sounds like in your experiences in the criminal justice program, you're learning the different parts that make up the team of criminal justice, kind of on the hockey team, the different parts that make up a hockey team. So transitioning there, your life as a student athlete. We've talked about all your experiences in the criminal justice program. You're also balancing being a student athlete. What is a typical day like if you have one?
Yeah, so honestly, I could just use today. So I kind of just woke up like in the morning. I woke up around, I think it was 7:15, my alarm was set. And then I kind of got up, got some breakfast, and then I headed out to the rink. We had a little skill session. And then I kind of just went home, chilled a little bit, had maybe another little breakfast in there. But then, you know, I got ready for my day, and then I'm coming here, and then say some days I'd have class, so it depends obviously what I have that day. And then I'll kind of, you know, go get lunch, and then we'll have our practice block from 1 to 5. So then I'll head up to the rink, and then we'll do kind of a team warm up in the middle there before we jump onto the ice at like 2. And then we'll be on the ice. We'll go lift after we kind of skate. And then we kind of stretch as a team after we lift. And then we're obviously going to more classes because we got to fit classes in there somewhere. So a lot of us have 5 o'clock or 6:30 o'clock classes. So then we head up to those and we kind of make room for meetings and stuff and, you know, going to different kind of clubs like SAC and Q-Corps and all these other kind of groups that we're all involved in. So we kind of have to make time for those as well.
And SAC is Student Athletic Advisory Council?
You banged it. That was nailed it. Wow.
I love acronyms on the show. I love to guess. But it sounds like time management and balancing that's not something you're new to, having played for Team Canada. I'm sure you traveled a lot with that experience. Yeah. How have you adjusted to that lifestyle?
I mean, it's honestly, like you said, I've been doing it since I was kind of little. So I actually billeted when I was a little younger in my junior years. I lived with a different family, so I was kind of already away from home. So that part I was kind of already used to coming here. And then, you know, you were still balancing school out there. You were still doing practice when you could. Just practice wasn't in the middle of the day. So that's kind of the only difference, I think, is that practice is kind of in the middle of the day and you have, you know, a 5-hour kind of time block for your athletics here. And that's something that you're kind of dialed into during that time. And so I think that's kind of one of the only differences. You don't really have to balance a lot of academics. Like, you just got to make sure you're kind of taking the time you have when you have it, and you're doing your work, and you're not kind of, watching a show maybe at that time. You're kind of just sacrificing little moments in your day for maybe work instead of watching a show or something that you like doing.
And you're doing all of that in the beautiful facilities on the York Hill campus, the M&T Bank Arena. How have all of these experiences prepared you for what may come next? And what do you think is next for Kahlen Lamarche?
Hopefully what's next for me is that after next year, I want to enter the PWHL draft. It's a new professional women's hockey league, for those who don't know, that kind of just opened up a couple of years ago.
And we settled that your favorite team is Toronto.
Toronto, yes, okay. Toronto Scepters. So hopefully that once I get out of college and graduate, get a degree, I hopefully can keep continuing playing pro a little bit. And then I want to slowly kind of transition into a career in obviously law enforcement, maybe policing. Like I said, I've kind of developed a big interest since my internship with that. So that's kind of one of my biggest things. Those are the two major things that I will do in my future. But yeah, like I think, classes at Quinnipiac just have prepped me and made me know that I want to be hopefully a police officer in my future. Like my internship course, like it kind of solidified that for me, and so it made me excited to want to like grow up more and, grow
be an
old,
adult.
I guess, be an adult and get a big girl job. And I do want to kind of pursue that career, and I think it's going to suit me, and I'm obviously going to give it all I have because that's who I am. I give my 100% to everything when I want it. So I think that's just one thing that kind of Quinnipiac prepared me for, is to always, give everything a chance and to really dive into everything and make sure you go into everything and attack everything with an open mindset and just learn as much as you can while you're here, because, this opportunity is not given to everyone. And so you got to kind of seize every moment and everything you get and run with it.
That's a soundbite right there. You mentioned you wanted to, you hope to go into the PWHL draft. I expect a jersey when you make the team. But how have you been able to grow as a hockey player here at Quinnipiac on the athletic side there?
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm just seeing it right now in my junior year. Like, the player I came in as, I was, maybe a little more kind of shy to be there and to maybe have the puck on your stick. It's a scary feeling, I guess, when you're around, people who are 4 years older than you. So I think I've kind of just grown into who I am, the role I play on my team, and just the little kind of details that go into being a Bobcat day in and day out. And I think it's something that I've kind of, tweaked my mindset to. And if I want to be part of the team, I got to kind of shift my mindset to being a team player and being that person who does all the little details that kind of coach asks from us.
And if you could give any piece of advice to students who are preparing to become student athletes, taking that transition, what would you say to them to get them started in the right way?
Honestly, I would say something that was really overwhelming for me was the recruiting process. I think I went with the first school who reached out to me, but don't. And
it was a great choice.
It was a great choice. I'm having so much fun here, like I wouldn't trade anything for what I got. I have an amazing opportunity and I'm loving it here. But I would just say, like, kind of take that process slowly. Don't let coaches force you into making a decision to committing for that team. Do your own research, dig in deep into that team, what their roster is going to look like when you come into that year, because you want to play your freshman year, right? And so if they're going to recruit a class of, 15 people, it's not ideal for you to come that year or to that school at all if you're looking to come in your first year, right? So I think it's just doing all that little dirty work yourself, because all the coaches are going to say great things about the school and they all want you to come, obviously, to your school. So it's kind of to take what they say to you with a grain of salt and do your own work beforehand. And that kind of also relieves pressure off of you when you're talking to the university or the school or the college you want to go to, because you know so much about the school already. And so they're not going to kind of trick you into going somewhere where maybe they promise you something and you won't really get it.
And look into the academic areas they have too. You came here, found criminal justice, and you've loved your time here so far, which is awesome to hear.
Yes.
Kahlen, thank you so much for taking the time today. It was great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me again. I had so much fun.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and like, and find other episodes on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube podcasts. Until next time, when I ask my next guest, who are you? I'm Joel Vanner. Bye for now.